Okay, this is 413 Springdale. There's cameras everywhere, so it's going to be a little difficult to talk super freely. I'll do what I can. You're kind of at the T intersection of, this is a dead-end street, Cassidy Drive, which I'm sure you probably went on Google Street and have viewed it. As you round this curve, over on the left side of the road is an apartment building, and I know 2 or 3 down on this side, same side, a house was redone. There is especially in the backyard, there's a lot of pine straw and leaves on the roof that really need to come off. Haven't walked over here yet. Single gate here. Got a little bit of a slope coming from up here down, so we'll talk about it when we get back there, but you've got a low spot right there. Storm coming in this afternoon, we think, so it's going to be a little windy here. I haven't noticed any wood rot or anything. There's a few places you might have. It might be soft right there. It's hard to tell. You do have several places where some either tree limbs or bushes are touching the house a little bit. Typical maintenance stuff to cut those back. Not a big deal there. So when you walk in, you do have a tile entryway here, and then transitions over to the LVP. Bedrooms are all down this hallway. Living room and kitchen are off in this direction. It is January 2010. So it's what a home inspector would say is it's at the end of its normal life cycle. How much longer it lasts, you know, it could be, I think the one in my parents' house is like 25 years old, so they can last if they're taken care of well. One of the biggest issues, and I know this is something you probably could do yourself, the only way to get in the backyard is go into the garage, go into the utility room, and then there's a back door that takes you on this back porch. This window right here would serve way better if it was either a sliding glass door or double French doors, so that you had immediate access and didn't kind of have to go way around. There's a few you can see where somebody's had something attached and they didn't even patch those, but a little touch-up paint would be fine on that. Rounds around, goes back to tile. The tile in here's cracked a bit here and there. It's not a huge deal. You do have some pull-out drawers for your pantry. I forgot what was, well, there we go. Just a bit of storage up there. They typically mean for an eat-in kitchen, small table to be here, or you could kind of use this area as a dining area. Not a large kitchen. They have put the little microwave cart here, and that's usually plumbing access. You see those in bedrooms or closets because there's a bathroom on the other side of it. Here, I'm not sure if they put that there, they've had to access, maybe there's a water bib on the outside right there, but not sure exactly why that's there. And the cabinets, I mean, they've got, you can see they've been painted, they got a little bit of wear and tear, but again, it's fairly clean. There's some weird, like, this is just sort of a weird space here, that there's this gap. So to get to anything here, you're kind of fighting the fridge a little bit. Not a huge deal. We'll come back and go that way. Let's do the inside of the house first. Oh, where was it? I did notice this seam and the LVP, not a huge deal, but it's, you have that wide of a gap, and then when you get to right about here, there's no gap. So either the room's not perfectly square, or this needs to be tapped in or something like that. I'm sure it's probably something you can fix. First room to the right is our guest bathroom, tile floor, dated vanity. I couldn't get this light to come on. The fan comes on when you flip that switch, but I couldn't get the light to work. So I mean, probably just a blown bulb. Across the hall is one of our guest bedrooms. There's the cover for the ceiling fan light. Kind of a bad seam there and there, but not a huge deal. It doesn't look like it's a big problem. Pretty standard closet. They did go ahead and do the wainscoting in here too. Your other guest bedroom, a little bit bigger. A little more unusual fan. With the closet door, bifold doors open, you can't open your bedroom door all the way, but normally you'd have that closed anyway, like that. And then just the way because there's a hallway closet right there, you've got this little nook that goes up right in there. And then you do have this coat closet / linen closet up there. And then your master bedroom. Not a lot to do to the house as far as updates. They've done most everything. The only thing would be touching up or making things slightly better. Pretty standard closet here, hang-up bar, and then gun rack and some shelving here. The master bedroom does have this nook here. Would be perfect for a dresser or TV stand or something like that. But it's a little bit on the smaller of the bedroom. It'd be to have a king size in here and normal dresser, chest of drawers, and like a TV stand or something. It would tighten it up a little bit. They do have a pocket door for the bathroom. The only weird thing I think is they put this handle on here instead of, using this to pull the door in and out. They've got this, which keeps it from going any further closed than that. Just a little weird. You can just sort of see where the moisture kind of has touched it right there. You can see a little bit of rust kind of corroding on that. Again, not a huge deal. I'm trying to be picky, if anything. And then this crown molding up here, there's a little bit of a gap right here, but not down here. So it just fell a little bit. Also that one came on, this one did not. And then you do have older windows. They're metal, single pane. That might be, I don't know if that, again, talking about what upgrades would be worth spending your money on and which ones wouldn't. Windows do make a home more energy efficient, but in our temperature here, it doesn't make a huge difference. They say really if you're trying to make your bill cheaper, spend more money on sealing your air conditioning vent lines. Okay, we'll step over into the garage. The light out here, the ballasts, you can see them trying to come on, but they won't come on, so a little bit darker out here. Single car garage. Your breaker panels out here, it's older, but it's there. I was occasionally we'd run into glass fuses still. It is very weird they put this in here. In the older homes, older than this, we see these inside the house. You flip a switch over here, there's a fan up there, these louvers open, you can open a window, and whatever, like if you have hot air in here, it'll pull that hot air out in a heartbeat. They're fantastic. I don't know why we ever did away with them, but unless it's an old home, I don't see them anymore. It's a newer garage door opener. Some pull down stairs there. We have a mud sink, washer dryer, some shelves. Water heater, and then there's some more storage space. Little ceiling tiles in here. And in here too. I don't know why I missed that, but these are little Celotex ceiling tiles. This is your only door to the backyard. Well, it's the only other door, period, other than the front door. And so screened in, there's some holes here and there. Pretty easy to fix. Outdoor carpeting. It's not fantastic, but I don't know any other way you would do it, but your dryer's venting right out here. Not a huge deal, but I don't know how you would change it to something else. Okay. All right. So, I don't know if you can see the landscaping timbers here. So this spot right here and here is just about the lowest spot. So what rain and water that's going to come flowing down here is going to end up here. But I don't see any marks on this half wall here or on the brick where standing water has stained it or left debris or anything like that. So I think once it gets to just a certain level up, it does flow on down, and I'll walk that way in a moment, but I think it goes to that side of the house, even though this is a little lower. Lots of trees back here, so this pool is full of leaves. You could clean it right now, and I think in 2 days it would probably be right back to what you see. This would be a great pool to put the little screened cages around. Those, I've heard prices all over the place on those. We don't have a lot of houses here that have that. So I'm not sure. I've heard anywhere from like 15 to 25,000. So I'm not sure. But you've got some seam cracks here and there. I don't see anything other than those cracks. Like I don't see anything. Usually you'll see something bulging or, where it's weakening in one spot. I don't see that anywhere. I do see where the caps are coming up in a few places. There's another spot around there where it's completely loose. Obviously, you can see most of these cracks in the video. Lots of acorns here from that oak. The other thing, this is a gunite pool, which we have so few here. I've heard great things. I haven't had a lot of dealings with a gunite pool. I know liner pools are all you see here basically, and you have to change those liners every 7 or 8 years or so. Excuse me. But I have heard some people say that on these, eventually you'll get little cracks or dents and things, and then you have to drain it and repair those. The great thing about this is I think you can drain it completely and refill it with no problem, whereas with a liner, if you drain it completely, that liner can move and shift and make it a nightmare to redo. Yeah, this is that little cap where I said, like, this is completely loose here. There's a Polaris. They have a little auto filler going on right here, so if it drops below a certain amount, the water will fill it. Sometimes that's a sign that somebody has a leak, and sometimes it's just a sign that they're not here to keep the level up, because it will drop a little on its own. All right, we'll go that way in a moment. Let's come around here and take a look at the pump. It is chlorine. There's no salt cell anywhere. The pump is struggling just a little bit right now with all that debris in there, I have no doubt. This has been left open. I'm going to close it for them. We've got some rain coming in. We want to make sure that doesn't get damaged. Lots of these holly bushes. These are crazy hard to kill. But they have trimmed them up, so all these thorny leaves are at least above your head. Little landscaping timbers here. Now these definitely will rot and need to be replaced over time. And then you've got like another level of them around that pine tree there, and then they kind of come back a few feet away from that back fence. And how he's running his exhaust line or drain line up and into here, it's uphill. I don't know that I would go that way with it, but he may have a reason he's doing it that way. You have a little bit of a divot area right there, so I think you're probably going to get some rainwater holding in that little spot. And then the roof, it's a 20-year shingle, and it's not new. It's so hard to tell how old those are sometimes. But an awful lot of leaves and pine straw up here. The gutters are slammed full. Okay. Big old magnolia tree. No idea what these lines are for. No idea. Then we have a single gate on this side. A couple more holly bushes. And that's it. You've got these cedar trees. All these limbs are touching the house. Those would definitely need to get trimmed back. And this is the first time I'm saying that is definitely soft right there. As you probably know, that's super easy and cheap to fix. And that might be, I'm too short to test it and see. But again, not all that's pretty normal stuff, even if it is rotten. The VA, well, you're not doing a VA, but just something to keep in mind if you ever need to sell in the future. VA they hate rotten wood, peeling paint, bad roofs, and bad floors. So just something to keep in mind there. So seems like a good house, and it's got a few things that you could do to keep busy. Repainting this would make it look a lot prettier. It's hard to tell. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but you can kind of see the color difference between sections of the gunite. You can see it's sort of worn. I don't know if that would change with scrubbing. I'm just not enough familiar with workings on a gunite to be of good knowledge there. But that's it. If you have any questions, let me know.